Came across a story and thought to myself, I didn't even know this is necessarily illegal or how this works. But then again, thank goodness people actually spent the time to do a multi-pronged investigation here. Toronto Star, Radio-Canada, La Presse, to show that cryptocurrency, right? So been around now for a while, and we all thought, okay, there are people who've made a lot of money doing this. There are probably things that are going on that are not legal. But the idea here that you could launder money with crypto and do it so brazenly and openly in Canada is really what's uncovered here. So we try to find a little bit more. Adam Atlas is a Montreal-based lawyer practicing in financial technology and crypto, and he is on the line. Mr. Atlas, thanks for being here this afternoon. Can you just give our audience a sense of what exactly is happening here? Because when we talk money laundering, and when you consider that this is an issue that, like major Canadian banks have now had to, toughen up their laws on, what's going on that manages to avoid them altogether? What's happening here?
Well, the Radio-Canada did a secret shopper transaction where they basically had some cryptocurrency that they wanted to sell. Now, to be clear, the transaction of buying or selling cryptocurrency is not controversial in and of itself. There are thousands of people who do that every day, entirely within the law. They happened to come across a crypto exchange outside of Canada that was willing to take them on as a customer. Now, that also, all by itself, is not illegal. There are plenty of foreign cryptocurrency exchanges that serve Canadians. However, a foreign crypto exchange serving Canadians, just like a domestic Canadian crypto exchange, must comply with the laws applicable to crypto exchanges, such as, for example, registering with FINTRAC, the Canadian Anti-Money Laundering Oversight Agency, Financial Transactions Reports Analysis Centre of Canada. That's what FINTRAC stands for. In this particular case, the foreign crypto exchange that took on this secret shopper as a customer was not registered with FINTRAC. So that's illegal, and they should not have been serving Canadians in that way.
Okay.
But it gets a lot more interesting as the transaction proceeds. So the secret shopper from Radio-Canada was told that they could pick up their cash consideration for the crypto they were selling at, if I'm not mistaken, any of a number of Canadian money service business locations. We walk around our city here in Montreal, and there are places that offer to do money transmission or currency exchange. They're quite common. They're a necessary part of getting consumer financial services. In any case, there were a handful of them that were willing to make the cash available to this secret shopper. So, and then if you look at the article, what happened was the secret shopper was told, well, listen, by the exchange, the overseas exchange, give me the serial number on a dollar bill, I think a $5 bill, and give that serial number to the foreign exchange, and then show up at a certain money service business location in Toronto. And if you show that same serial number to the Toronto money service business, they will then give you the cash that you were expecting for your crypto that you sold to this foreign exchange.
Okay. By the way, we should mention we're talking some major amounts of money here. This is not simply say $1,000 or $2,000. There's a lot of money involved here.
Well, in the secret shopper transaction that Radio-Canada did, they did it for, I think it was $1,900. But let me just walk you through the rest of the transaction, and then because they offered to do a much larger transaction. So
okay.
The secret shopper showed up at this Toronto business, this money services business, and presented the serial number, the code, and was handed the $1,900 in cash. Boom, no questions asked. Now, why is this problematic? Well, like I said earlier, the foreign exchange was not registered with FINTRAC, and as the Radio-Canada tells it, the secret shopper was not put through the customary know your customer and risk underwriting procedures that you would normally go through with a crypto exchange. Like if you went to one of the regulated crypto exchanges in Canada, like ShakePay or Coinbase or CoinSquare, you would be asked for your ID and certain personal information to make sure you are who you are, and also to allow the exchange to check that you're not listed on some terrorist list, that you're not a bad guy. And none of this appears to have happened in this transaction.
Okay.
So now to your question, the Radio-Canada secret shopper offered to do a much bigger transaction, not just $1,900 but something in the order of $1 million. And this is covered in the La Presse article, because La Presse was asking me about it. The exchange overseas outside of Canada was willing to give the secret shopper more than $1 million in exchange for their $1 million of crypto.
Wow. Now,
when you and I are going on a vacation, I don't know, to Arizona or something, right? And we're converting 1,000 Canadian dollars to, what is it, 400 US dollars these days or something, right? Just kidding. We're used to paying, right? We pay for the service of the conversion,
right?
And the exchange on the other side of the counter earns money from that exchange difference. This was the opposite. This was the customer selling crypto worth, let's say, $1 million and being offered more than $1 million. And so La Presse was asking me, well, how does this make any sense? And sadly, the only explanation I can come up with is that there's someone in Canada has too much cash and is willing to pay someone to take it.
Well, sure.
Right?
And of course, the obvious issue here, you mentioned, of course, we don't know who this is. It could be illegal, whatever. It's also a way to avoid taxes, right? None of that money's being declared, so you could just keep doing this forever. So that becomes the way you launder money.
Right. And these days, in particular in Quebec, you have to file with Revenu Quebec information about your crypto holdings and your crypto transactions. So to your point, these crypto transactions could perhaps be carried out, assuming a dishonest player here, without making the necessary filings with Revenu Quebec.
I have to wrap up. I did want to ask one last thing, which is with respect to now this investigation has turned this up. Obviously, I'm guessing authorities might have known this kind of thing existed. Has there been a reaction, police, anybody, in terms of what can be done or will be done knowing this now?
I think there'll be some attention paid to the specific exchanges involved, but this is I hate to say it, but from my perspective, this is a drop in the bucket of what's going on. I think if law enforcement and regulators want to get a hold on things, I think that they could put in place laws that would regulate some of this activity a little bit more. Like in Quebec, money transmitters need a license. In Ontario, there's no other province in Canada that has that law yet in effect. So you can open a Western Union at the corner of Yonge and Bloor, and you don't need a license from the province of Ontario. Mm-hmm. You do have to register with the federal FinTrack. I think more regulation, and people also have to be careful. There's a lot of scams make use of crypto, and you should be careful if you feel like you're headed.
We will leave it at that. Mr. Atlas, appreciate the time. Interesting to see what develops from this story. Thanks so much.
I'm Luke Wilson. Join me each week for Film Never Lies. Since retiring from the NFL, I've had a lot on my mind, and now I've got my own show. So if you're tired of lazy takes, if you want honest conversations, join us each week. Film Never Lies, available on all TSN platforms and the iHeartRadio app.